sweetly.
Well, what do you do to relax?
Smoke marijuana.
Okay, now I know. Sweet leaf. They honest. Such a beautiful plant. It heals mentally, physically, spiritually. This is a blessing from the creator of all. Facts. Absolute facts.
How I got here was T. Ralph, a sub of mine. He sees me smoke on my reactions, and I only smoke on my rock and roll reactions and usually only on the night ones. But he said, hey man, you know, you roll a big one, get into her and do Sweet Leaf. I promise you, you won't be sorry. Just do it, and then I'll talk to you after, guys. So that's how I got here. So shout out to him. We're getting into Sweet Leaf, guys. I got one rolled up.
And with me today, okay, y'all know what day it is. It is April 20th, and for at least some of us, today is an international holiday. So before we get to anything else, I would like to wish all of you a very happy 420, everybody. We, you know, as I got ready to do this episode for this particular day, I am reminded I did a 420 episode last year, and not many people were interested. I have a feeling that there will be a few more partaking with me today, and I had a slew of options to choose from for music that kind of celebrates cannabis and how it makes us feel, and I had trouble figuring out which one to do, but I think I've got the right one today. We are going to be looking at Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath. I have not yet heard this song. It comes highly recommended, and I have loved the Black Sabbath music that I have heard previously. So let's dive in. This song is from their third studio album called Master of Reality. It was released all the way back in 1971. Apparently, Ozzy had a nice large joint. Good job, Ozzy. And Tony Iommi was recording some acoustic guitar tracks at the time, and Ozzy gave Tony this joint, and Tony started coughing after partaking, and his coughing ended up being captured on tape, and apparently they used a fragment of Tony's coughing as the intro to this song, which is the very first song on the album. So right off the bat, we get to hear Tony coughing a bit. And it's a song that is kind of an ode to cannabis. So let's dive in. It is Ozzy Osbourne on lead vocals, Tony Iommi on guitars, Geezer Butler on the bass, and Bill Ward on the drums. So I've got the studio recording pulled up, and let's have a little fun, y'all. Black Sabbath singing Sweet Leaf. Here we go. There's a cough. That's a cannabis cough if I know one. All right now. Big, heavy sound. I've read a little bit about... I should shut up and listen to Ozzy. When I first met you, didn't realize I can't forget you or your surprise. You introduced me to my mind. Talk about that a little bit.
He got that guitar hollering, man. I'm telling you, I love that way that shit sounds. The tuning of that.
or the way it's, the tone of it.
Yes.
Sorry.
They got on my ass.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, man, I don't know what else to say, man. It just sounds good to us, man.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything that they do, groove wise, guitar tone wise. We were reading somewhere that this was probably one of the first stoner rock songs. So we've heard the doom side of Sabbath because we did Black Sabbath on Patreon. Check that out if you guys are interested. The link for that will be in the description. That was more of, like, I think they said that was the first doom song, and this is one of the first stoner songs.
So they really pioneered a lot of different sounds, man. You know, which is great because to me that epitomizes greatness.
Yes,
you know, even if you didn't know what you were really hearing when you first heard it at the time.
Yes,
you know, they just pioneered that shit and just broke down walls, which is great, man. You know,
yeah.
I don't know about the intro though. I mean, I don't know what that was.
The coffin.
It's like they were mixing that shit.
Yeah, they smoking on that sweet leaf, bro.
Yeah, I guess so.
But hey, I have a question though. As far as who's responsible, because I'm looking at it says written by obviously the entire group: Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi. I'm smooth with that now.
You got that now.
I'm smooth with it now. Ozzy, and then of course Bill Ward. But who's responsible for composing sort of the melodies for the most part? Who's putting that together? You know what I mean? Because I love the way
Ozzy approaches it.
Ozzy, pretty much almost every song. Even though I'm iffy on Ozzy's voice sometimes, to be honest, I do love the melody behind it. You know,
me too. Me too. That's
that blues.
Great observation.
Yeah,
it's
just
true.
the melody in his voice, how they approach the melody fits so well with those nasty ass riffs and groove as well. So
everything's important, dude.
Everything is fucking important. Let us know that in the comments, though, man. Let's keep it going. Nasty so far, of course.
Yes, sir.
Dope hard rock. When I first met you, you better sing.
I had a feeling, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. But if I would have jumped, I would have landed right on point.
Bitches. We need more of this weed and more of this dude.
I just felt my chakra open, honey.
That's right, Joe Jack. I sure did. Because right now, at this very moment, we are currently listening to a weed song by Black Sabbath. And I fucking love it. Here for it all the way. That fucking groove is nasty. Ugh. And then those parts, like it's very simple, but those little, like the very tiny flourishes that the bass does, it just sounds like they're having fun. Like them playing that, like they just like, you know, you can see them looking at each other and, like they're just having fun. That's shit that is just fun to play. So let's go ahead and get the OG Kush. Get the OG Kush up in here. Yeah. And get even more toasty with Black Sabbath. Holler at my buddy Sweetleaf, as they would call it. I like that.
Ozzy's voice and this whole entire band, they are, it's like one of those things that just click and it comes together, and it was meant to come together. Black Sabbath was meant to come together. The way the band plays with Ozzy's voice, my God, it is just so good. His voice is so unique. I love Ozzy's voice. It's just, even when he did his solo stuff and he was playing with Zakk Wylde, I believe, and I forget the other guitarist that he played with after, you know, he went and did his solo career stuff, but, you know, Ozzy's good, but Black Sabbath is bad fucking ass. And yes, I do need to cover Black Sabbath with Dio, because that's a whole other spin on the band. But you guys know me, I am tried and true. I love OG music, and I love when it's in the original lineup. And Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. This album, Master of Reality, is a good album. Man, Sweet Leaf is just, it's a classic Black Sabbath song.
What are they doing next? New section, probably. Up a step. That's a B. C sharp. Went from A minor. That sounds like a C sharp major chord, y'all. Woo! That's a tritone from C sharp down to G. And that subtonic back into the A minor riff that they've been doing before that. That was cool.
Alright guys, so this was an absolute jam right here. And like I said, I really love like the fuzziness, distortion in the guitars. And when I hear this, and I relate it to metal later on, which is called stoner metal, or stoner rock, either one. I think about how people talk about how Black Sabbath is like the godfathers of heavy metal music. And so it's interesting that they had this particular sound for this song, which is called Sweet Leaf. Because originally I thought that he was actually singing about a woman. And I go back, I pull up the lyrics, and I'm listening and I'm reading. And I'm like, oh shit, he's talking about marijuana. So that's funny. It's funny he's talking about marijuana, and then this is like stoner rock or stoner metal. So it's really, really cool, because a lot of bands later on, they ended up using this style, and they still use this style. So this is very, very interesting. But musically, this is a great song. I really enjoyed it. It falls in line with what I was saying with Deep Purple, how the musicianship is just really good. But when they did that little transition in the middle, did y'all hear that? They had like this mini drum solo. This mini drum solo in there, and Bill Ward was going to work. So I like how they do that, because this is a 5-minute song, and the way that they had that little drum break in the middle, it wasn't too long. It was short and sweet. It shows off his chops, and then they keep it moving, and they get back into the song. It's like, dun, 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 all right now. Anyway, guys, I want to continue doing some more Black Sabbath, so leave some suggestions and requests down below in the comments.
You know, I enjoyed the song very much.
The first metal band ever. That's what they're regarded as.
Listen.
It's cool to hear the early stages of metal, like before metal developed into like later metal.
Listen, I really enjoyed the song. I loved that there were the lyrics.
Yeah.
I absolutely love, because you know what? It helps you understand the song more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I know what the song's about.
Me too.
What?
Marijuana.
Marijuana, you got it.
Yeah. Sweet Leaf. People put you down. Try me out. I love you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's got to be about marijuana. Yeah, and I love the song. I think it was great.
Me too. You know, it's interesting.
And it wasn't too complicated of a song.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, I think it was like just like it was the. How do I word it?
Well, because this was the early stages of metal. Metal was not a thing before Black Sabbath. They're known as the fathers of metal. They invented it. So this is like when metal was first starting out. Was Black Sabbath was like this. So it's interesting to hear what metal sounded like before it was called metal. Like, that's really cool. That's why it sounded so like not simple, but not like complex.
Not complicated.
Was because it was still starting out, this new type of music, this heavier type of music.
Yeah.
That's why.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved following along with the words. Ozzy is just the man.
He is. I love him. He's great. His voice is awesome. He's crazy. You know, he is, of course. I mean, it was...
I love him.
Yeah.
I wonder how he's doing. He had a major operation last
I know.
year,
I heard that. Yeah. He's been sick for a while now.
Yeah, well, we wish the Oz man well, because we're big fans of Ozzy over here.
Yeah, we are. We love him. I love his voice. You know, the thing about the guitar work is interesting. I heard a story about Tony Iommi, that when he was younger, he got in a really bad accident, that his tips of his fingers got cut off. So he was a guitarist, obviously, and that was like really bad, because how could he play guitar anymore?
Right, like a drummer losing an arm.
Yeah, like Def Leppard. Okay, yeah. So what he had to do was he got like a surgery or something, and they gave him like new fingers or something.
Wow.
Or I think no. I think he was so like, I don't know, like I don't think he had a lot of money at the time, so he made his own fingers out of metal.
I never heard this.
Yes.
I never heard this.
Yes.
Come on, dude.
So because of that, it was hard for him to play the guitar. So he had to tune the guitar down a couple of steps. So it was deeper and easier for him to play the strings.
I never heard that.
So because it was deeper, it gave Sabbath their deep sound, their more evil sound.
Okay.
Like the notes weren't as high, the notes were deeper. They had to tune the guitar down, so it was easier for him to play.
I never heard anything
and
like that.
Gave
He made
him
his own fingers. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
All right.
Someone, you know what? I'm going to look it up.
I believe you.
I'm going to look it up right now.
I believe you.
Did Tony Iommi, I hope I'm spelling it right, get his fingers off. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, he lost the tips of his middle and ring fingers on his right hand due to a horrible accident on his very last day in the job. That's what it says.
Wow.
So
last day, go figure.
He was told that he would never play again, which he said was not believable for him. He didn't believe it. So I swear there was a part that said that he had to make his own.
All right, well, we can check that later.
Yeah, I know I'm not making this up. Like, I know I heard this somewhere.
Hey, no problem.
So if it wasn't for that accident, we wouldn't have heavy metal. Because they had to tune the
you
guitar
can't
down.
say that.
No, because they had to tune the guitar down a couple of steps, a couple of notes, so it would be easier.
What's the matter with this kid? You buying this stuff?
No, I'm not even joking. So it would be easier for him to play the strings.
Okay.
So that gave Sabbath their heavier sound.
Well, that was fun. Sweet Leaf. You know, there's a lyric in here where actually in the first verse, when I first met you, didn't realize I can't forget you or your surprise. You introduced me to my mind and left me wanting you and your kind. I want to talk a little bit about that. I am a goody two-shoes, y'all. In high school, college, I never partook of cannabis. I haven't been a cannabis user for very long. In fact, I think I first came to it in 2014 as simply a way to help manage my back pain. I have chronic back issues, and I didn't want to go into opioids or any sort of big-time painkillers. My brother lived in California, and he's like, this helps me, man. And so I got some medicinal help through it, and it's been very helpful for me over these past few years. And it's also, you know, it helps with body pain for me, but it also does have some mind stuff as well, especially if you get into different types of strains. And this usage of this has really opened me up and my mind to meditation. Now, I don't need to have smoked to do some meditating. But being in this state where it sort of sometimes makes my brain hyper aware and I'm able to really listen to music, say, like a little more three-dimensionally than I normally am able to do. And it just allows for a little bit of a rounder understanding of the world around you, at least in the way that I contextually view the world. It helps me with my empathy. It helps me with my frame of reference, and it helps it kind of open me up to mindfulness and really meditating. And it's been a great help to me. And finally, it's going to be recreationally available in New Jersey, where we live. But honestly, it's quite hysterical because, you know, the day that that you can now buy cannabis in New Jersey without a prescription at a regular dispensary. The first day that you can do that is not 4/20, but 4/21. And it's the most Jersey thing that I can think of. It's like, yeah, you guys, you want some cannabis? Here you go. 4/21, we're your people. What are you going to do, right? But it's a day where we just sort of advocate, I think, that it's not a big deal, right? And if, like everything else in moderation, it's very helpful to me. And it just kind of loosens me up occasionally. It's kind of fun. So it's fun to smoke a little bit with y'all today and imbibe a little bit today on 4/20, April the 20th. I will save the rest of this for later, but that's...
Welcome back now, dear.